It's my feel-good breakfast show.
And it is indeed your feel-good breakfast show, live, large, and in charge on this Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, it's been an exciting world in the world of technology, and this morning we look at how our smartphones are likely to evolve in the future. And here to give us the good news on tech is Bryan Smith, the Managing Director of bandwidthblog.com. Thanks so much for being here with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start off with talking about the big news in the tech world. I think a lot of people back in 1998 were laughing when they were watching Armageddon with Bruce Willis blowing up an asteroid. But now it looks like NASA is on a similar kind of mission where they're trying to protect the planet. Tell me about that.
Well, Armageddon's actually a really good reference because I'm sure most of us at some point have sat out and looked at the night sky and thought, if an asteroid were heading for the Earth, what would we do?
Right now.
Now, NASA is thinking how to answer that question itself, and what they've come up with is called DART. It's the Double Asteroid Redirection Test. What NASA plans to do is fire a small fridge-sized satellite at one of two sibling asteroids to see if they can actually change the orbit of this asteroid. The emphasis being that one day if an asteroid were heading towards Earth at terminal velocity, we'd be able to redirect it if this is successful.
And now, hopefully that these tests work out well and that we can avert something like this. But it sounds quite crazy to think that you know, something the size of a fridge could change this future of the planet. But if we take it back to Earth now, and we talk about Android Go and how that is, you know, in the emerging market, kind of influencing our smartphones out there. What makes Android Go so special?
I think this is particularly significant because if you think about it, most of us in our day-to-day use Android, which is the operating system which is now most prevalent in the world. For example, if you have a Samsung phone, you're likely using Android.
Android, yes.
So Android Go is a new initiative from Google to redress two particular problems Android has. The first is that Android in the beginning was designed for high-end premium phones. So naturally that makes it quite expensive and it is a barrier of access for many people. The second thing is that having a smartphone, many people are unprepared for having to pay through data bundles and the additional expenses of maintaining a smartphone. Android Go is a new profile, as it were, for the new build of Android called Android O. And essentially, it's doing two very significant things. The first is that it's prioritizing cheaper, more effective hardware to open up smartphones to the masses. Secondly, it's giving people greater options in managing their data day to day. So the end emphasis is this going to expand Android's footprint in emerging markets.
Okay, well, that's very, very exciting for those markets. But when we talk about smartphones, you think about them now and how they've evolved over time and the different shapes and sizes and all the different facets that they come in. How much more can they actually evolve? If you take a look at maybe, let's say, in the next 5 years' time, how do you envision they might change?
Well, here's the interesting thing is that in 2017, we're actually at a very unique place where we can see some of these trends taking root. For example, something we may see become very commonplace in the next 5 years is the advent of smartphones losing their bezels, being the top forehead, bottom chin, and side bezels. We'll be able to prioritize screens on our smartphone a great deal more, and a device that might come to mind is Samsung's new Galaxy S8.
S8, yes.
The second thing is that most of us have a smartphone with a single lens camera. What many premium manufacturers are bringing to the market now are dual camera arrays designed to use two different lenses. Some manufacturers have a wide angle lens, others have a telephoto lens to zoom in. Some have had the very novel idea of having a black and white sensor as well as a color sensor to better manage highlights and shadows.
So I think when you speak about cameras, that's where I'm most excited because I like to, I use it on the daily and of course it becomes a big part of my life as well. But thank you very much for joining us this morning and giving us an update. And of course, let us know which tech news stories are exciting you out there, whether it is the world of smartphones and whether it is all about data. If you're looking to cut down on costs, how you are going about that. And of course, when you share your thoughts with us, do so using #ExpressoShow.